Hey everybody, it's the Moon Knight spoiler episode 2, and it's a little late. Wanted to get out early, but
Apologies. Apologies.
yep, apologies for that. It is now a little later in the day, but yet another review. And if you're brand new to the channel and you're checking it out and you want to see a little bit more, go to hit subscribe, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the notification button also. That helps tremendously. I'm going to do something a little different. As you guys know, I've already seen episodes 1 through 4. I did non-spoiler on those, and I did spoiler on episode 1. I didn't have any of the images in the way that I did it for Boba Fett, but I'm going to do it this time for this way. You guys tell me if you like it. You're going to comment below, and we'll have a bit of a discussion about it and talk about it and all that stuff. So I'm digging the show very much so. As I said in the non-spoilers in the 1 through 4, episode 1 I think is my favorite because I think that out of the 4 of them, the mystery is the most in the first one. And it's the most, I think, different out of all the Marvel stuff that they've done, and kind of a promise inside of that creepy, what the hell is this? And once you start getting into the next few episodes, it gets a little more Marvel-y, which obviously I think a lot of people are looking for that because it's a Marvel show. There's a couple things inside of this episode. I went, well, that's kind of the same tone we've seen in mostly every single Marvel thing, but I get it. I guess why they put that in there, but not a lot of it. Another thing I mentioned is that what I do like, and I wonder if a lot of people are going to like this, you don't get a lot of actual Moon Knight in the costume as much as maybe everybody wants him in it. I like how much, there's just like a sprinkle of it in this episode. But I like it's more about the relationship and the understanding of the split personalities and the disorder that this guy's got to go through, plus dealing with this Khonshu, the Egyptian god. And I think that the way that they're doing it's interesting to me. And it's weird because I saw a lot of people kind of online, and I think it might be Moon Knight fans. I knew nothing about Moon Knight, the comic book, going into it, except a few mentions from friends and stuff too, but I knew nothing about it. So I had nothing to compare it to. So if people who are comparing it to things that happen in the comic, and that's what, then I understand that that happens all the time, whether it's a book you read or it's a game you played and it doesn't match up. I get it. I didn't have that going into it, so I'm going fresh into it. This is the first time ever really knowing anything about it. So to me, this is pure to the origin and everything. Might not be, but to me it is. So there's tons of it, right? And then we start back off because there was so much that went down with Stephen and Mark in the last episode, and now he wakes up again, and he's in the shits, and he's like, what is going on? And he's having these conversations. He's trying to figure it out, and I think what Oscar Isaac is doing and the way he's playing in between the both of them, and I think it explains a lot more now. People are saying, oh, that accent's not good. Yeah, well, I don't think it's his real accent. I think he's kind of put it on, and he's kind of developed it for this Steven persona. Mark has, and then that's whatever trauma it was that created Steven. I think Mark is who he was, and then Steven was created inside of whatever trauma happened. That's usually what happens with split personalities. But he's now, this is him trying to escape it because of him trying to be normal, and that's what Steven is, or at least how he's playing. He goes back to the museum, and he walks back in, and he realizes that, shit went down in that last episode. Because the last thing that we see in that episode, in episode 1, is he's in the suit, and you're like, I thought it was a great way to end the episode. But you're starting back out. It's like, okay, well, what are the repercussions? What's going to happen to him now? And that's the thing, is that Steven's the one that's paying the price for all of this. And I like that. I like the idea that he's got to pay the price for all of it. And like when he wakes up and he has a date with the woman that he asked out, and it's 2 days later from the first episode, and he's like, okay, so I don't know what is happening. He's trying to piece his life together, and now he's getting caught up in all of it. And Mark even says to him inside of it, you weren't supposed to get caught up in it. And I really liked the way that they did that. And I think that one of the things that people mention, and again, I have no point of reference for it, it's just something that I've heard, is that in the comic books, I think it's usually Mark who is in the lead with Steven popping up, here and there, but it's more about this mercenary. And I think that that's what people are PO'd about, that he's not. I like that they're leading with Steven, that Steven is the one, because it's to me, it's a little bit more relatable up top of like, what would you do if you realized you were like this? Not only were you a mercenary for real, not only were you married, you had an Egyptian god in your head who put you in a cloth suit with gold glowing eyes. That's this guy. We'll get to that in a second. So he goes back to the museum, and he realizes, okay, well, that wasn't a dream again. I gotta realize that this is not a dream. This shit's going down. This guy's great. I don't know who this guy is. His security guard buddy that can never get his name right. but his delivery is great. And he's just, what's he call him, a donut at one point? His delivery is great. They go back to the thing, and this is one of my favorite scenes in the episode, is where they're kind of tracking what went down. He's like, "Is that you?" He's like, "Yeah, it's me. I'm going to start running away from a dog. The dog is nowhere to be seen." And then this is the shot that I just loved, where he's just like, "There's you again." He's like, "No, that's not me." And he's realizing it. He's having this conversation once again with Mark, the guy that he just kind of met in the previous episode and the end of it, and he's still trying to piece it all together. And then he gets booted, goes back to Goldface, and Goldface doesn't say shit except knows he's talking to a guy with some issues, because he gives him a little side eye. And I love that he goes back to this guy, and this is my other. There were a lot of really great scenes in this episode, I got to be honest, because he goes back to this guy, like, "Yeah, I've seen you before, butthole. You want to go get to your stuff? Go get to it." And then this scene that he goes back and he gets his stuff. It reminded me of the Bourne Identity. Remember that scene in Bourne Identity when except the difference is where Jason Bourne is piecing it together because he had amnesia. This guy is still a vessel. He's still inside of the body, but he's like trading back and forth, and he's trying to make it work. And this is what I like what Oscar Isaac is doing in this role, is that he's able to jump back and forth, and you believe him. You believe that he's these two different characters, and I think that's the reasoning for the accent. I think if he didn't have the accent, it'd be a little harder for him to do. But giving him an accent and putting it, I don't know if, and I wonder again in the comic book, I have no idea. Does it take place in London? Is Stephen British in the comics? I don't know, but maybe it was an easier choice for Oscar Isaac to do it. But he goes in there and he's looking at it, and he's like, okay, well, what the hell do I have here? Because he found all this shit in his attic, and now he knows where to go. And here he finds his passport. Sorry, there's Mark Spector. That's me, kind of ish. And then he finds the golden snitch from Harry Potter, and he then has a conversation with himself and realizes, okay, am I losing my mind? Who are you? And I think that the progression of this, everything so far that like I told you, I'm going to have like one minor gripe when I get to like the end of this episode, but this kind of was staying with the mystery and the handling of what the hell is going on, the unraveling of Steven, and then more, and you're getting a little bit more now of the conversation where Mark starts to step in more and say, "Listen, man, like, let me just take over. Go take a nap." He's like, "I'm never going to sleep again, dude. Like, now that I have discovered this, leave me alone." And so he tries to bail on it, and it gets creepier and creepier as he starts to do it, which I thought in the imagery in it is fantastic, because now as he gets out, Khonshu Khonshu's not going to do anything to him, but Khonshu wants to creep him out. And I love the way Khonshu looks. That big creepy skull that he's got, and the Moon Knight's the Moon Spectre and all, and he's a tortured god also, you know, and he's mean. He's definitely mean to Steven. He has a little bit more later. But then, as I mentioned last week, well, in my non-spoiler, I think I mentioned it, is that May Calmoe? I hope I said it right. Calmoe. I don't know how I said it, but I definitely said it wrong, and I don't know if I ever got it right. But what I will tell you is that May plays Layla, and she is fantastic. We hear her in the first episode, and what I was hoping we weren't going to get is some kind of like, "Oh, what, you don't know me? Oh," some silly scene, and then it's, you know, who knows what it was going to be. But she's a badass. She has basically been wronged by her husband, who is, and she thinks he's just trying to get away. She knows nothing about Steven. Obviously, Mark has been hiding Steven from her for a while, and because she doesn't know about him at all. She knows about the suit. She knows about Khonshu, but she doesn't know about this, and she certainly doesn't know about the Harry Potter thing. So when she picks him up and they're racing through the street and she tells him to cut the accent out, she still doesn't really get it yet. And they go back to the apartment, and he's still, Mark is like, "Don't do it. Don't get her caught up in this shit, man. Don't do it. I've been trying to use divorce papers, all of it." And then she finds whatever it's called, the sphere, the specter, this stupid thing that Ethan Hawke's trying to get, the golden snitch. And then the crooked cops show up, and all this. You get the classic hiding out on the roof scene that no one ever checks anymore. And this scene, as it goes to build up, where Oscar Isaac or Mark is talking to Steven in the car, and he's like, "Just give me the control, brother. Come on." And Ethan Hawke is doing some great stuff in this series. He's really doing some good stuff. It's like I feel like he could have fit in very well. This character could have fit in very well in like Lost, because when he is not intimidated by Khonshu at all, and Khonshu tells him break his windpipe, and he said, "What is he telling you? He's telling me to kill him. He's telling you to kill me." Yeah, I've heard that before. He's been there before. He's done it before. He was the Avatar before, and he's been through it, and he knows so much about it. And now he's working for the other god. But this was the scene right here when they're walking through like this little village, and the way that he's talking, like it just reminded me like Ben from Lost. And he seems like he's a friend to Steven, but in reality, and Khonshu's looking the whole entire time. In reality, he's not. And here he is with his purple stick. And he's like, all right, look, give me this stupid golden thing, or I'm going to use the purple stick on you. And then she goes, well, I have the golden thing. What are you going to do, asshole? She beats up one of his guys. They run off. Mark tries to get back in. And this is where it starts to get marvelly, really marvelly for me. And maybe you guys love it. But when Steven jumps into this suit, and he does it because that's how he'd want to be perceived, and however the hell they want to do it. This is kind of silly humor here that we didn't get for the majority. I mean, he pops in. I guess Steven kind of does that. You expect that of him. He has the conversation with Mark inside the. Mark even tells him, "What are you doing? Where's the real cape?" And he's fighting the demon dogs. That's a stupid thing. And then this is the part I didn't like at all. He's jumping around, dancing, and trying to do Muhammad Ali with them out on the street and boxing him, and he punches him in the head. He finally gives control to Steven, and Steven puts on, this is the outfit. I mean, this outfit's great. He's running around from the demon dog, and he flying through the moon. He spikes the fucker right on top. Like, that's a great shot. That's a great shot. Look at that. I want to do a screensaver for that thing. But then it goes, and like I said, as I mentioned before, there was a couple things I didn't like. It was brief, because as soon as it snaps back into that and he spikes the thing onto that, and then the golden snitch gets picked up by Ethan Hawke, and you're like, okay, well, they're kind of trading power here back and forth. But there's this conversation that I really like a lot, because there's this battle going on for this vessel. And then Ethan Hawke kills this dude. But there's this battle, and he's just like, and they're both in such pain. They're both in such pain. He says, "This is what it's like to be in this thing. This is awful." It's like, yeah, it's not the best. And this rage that comes out of Spectre, which is phenomenal. And then Khonshu's trying to get a hold of him, and he's like, "Well, I got a deal for you. And if you want to break, I'll let you out of the deal. But just remember, I'm going to take your wife, because she's probably going to be the next Avatar." And then he wakes up in Egypt. So there you go. Aaron Moorhead, Justin Benson direct this one. Like the first episode better. Like this episode a lot. But I just know that there's going to be a little bit more of the, that stuff. But I will say F. Murray Abraham as Khonshu is fantastic. The voice is scary. It's an intimidating look. I saw people complaining about the music. I love the music. Really digging this show so far also. Because now, and I think that's just the thing that you're going to get, right? You get when you don't know about it and the mystery starts to unravel a little bit, then you have to just understand if you like the character and like the story, and I do. And I'm going to, and I think that I just have to accept more so that when Steven is in control of the body, there's going to be more of the kind of goofy moments that happen. That's kind of I think the balance of it, and the reason why they want to do that, and why they want to put him in, so it's not as dark the whole time, because Mark is obviously dealing with, they're both dealing with shit, but he's dealing with the more angry demons, and Steven's more the simpleton. So, understood. But I'm very curious for you guys. What do you think about the show? Are you digging it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Disappointing? Delivering? Comment. Please tell me exactly what you think, and I'll be back for episode 3. I'm going to try them out in the morning, but it's just a matter of, we were shooting a lot of stuff for SCHMOEDOWN this weekend, which was really great. A lot of fun. And if you haven't, please check out the movie trivia SCHMOEDOWN, Friday Night Titans. If you're a wrestling fan, think about Monday Night Raw, but instead of wrestling, it's movie trivia. If you're not a wrestling fan, just think about a really fun drama with movie trivia sprinkled in. But that's it. That's everything. Subscribe, notifications, like button, all of it. Do it. Come on. All right. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. See you next time. Peace.